Hi everyone, I'm Darren Devitt and I'm going to talk about conformance issues in FHIR and how Vanya can help developers spot and address problems with their FHIR data. A couple of weeks ago I wrote a LinkedIn post on this topic. The spark for that post was some code changes I was making in Vanya to allow invalid data to be loaded. Once I had the changes in place, I went looking for bad data to see if my code had worked. I browsed resources on the public FHIR servers from Happy and FHIRly, and I looked through various resources on non-public servers that I had access to. I found far more problems than I expected. So let's start by taking a look at the Happy server. We just click connect here. And let's jump into the patient resource. So you can see at the top that one resource contains conformance issues. If there were more than one, it would say so up here. And I can see the little warning icon down here next to James T. Kirk. If I click on that, over on the right, it populates the section here with the full details from the resource. And we can see the birth date up here, and also on the JSON tab here, same conformance message. The birth date appears to be a date time field instead of just a date field. So if I scroll down and find that value, there it is. Yeah, it should just be day, month, year instead of day, month, year plus time. So if we jump now into the consent resource, if we can find that. And again, 16 errors here. So let's pick the first one. This is telling us that the text.div element, the div is missing. Cardinality of 1 cannot be null. Let's jump into the JSON, and there's the text block. It's got a status field, but the div is missing, so that's invalid. And let's try payment notice, this one here as well. 7 resources non-conformant. I'm guessing missing values like, what's this here? Payment date, payment status. Okay, so payment, recipient, and amount are missing. So 3 values are missing. Recipient is missing from this one here. And down here, okay, the currency value is not a correct code for value set currencies. Let's have a look at that. Currency value, amount.currency. Amount.currency, it says shekel. Shekel apparently is not a correct value for the currency's value set. Quite a detailed error there. So let's jump back to the home page and switch over to the FHIRly server. And let's pick a different resource here. We're connected, so let's try endpoint, see what we see here. So 2 resources have a problem. Just select this one. And it's telling us the element ID is not a correct literal. So this element ID here, on the JSON tab that's here, and the cause I think is the underscore. An underscore is not allowed in a FHIR ID. So let's click on the device resource now, see what we find here. There's one resource with an error, we'll click on that. Problem with the identifier, so jump into the JSON. It's telling us the 0 index first identifier, the system is incorrect. So the URI is not valid. So if we look here, we can see a .com instead of .com. So that's invalid. Let's try the media resource now. See what we can find here. And one error down here. Content data. So the base64 encoded data is incorrect. That's down here in the content section. There's the data. So it's a base64 encoded string. Yeah, so there's some problem with that string. That's invalid. So I didn't mean to single out any particular server. Every server I looked at had conformance errors just like these. Common errors like we saw include missing required elements, invalid data in a host of different elements. So validation is not always being performed by the FHIR servers, and it's not always being performed by the application sending the data either. So when I built this feature into Vanya, I wasn't expecting these results. So I'd recommend you take a look at your own data, see what Vanya throws up. Thanks for listening.